So what I'm about to read to you can be referred to as an essay of sorts or something called an exposition. And we're looking at persuasive writing, where you want to convince the reader of something or convince them of your position, really. So what we're going to be looking at is a very fun topic of homework. And should homework be banned? And I'm wondering if you sometimes feel like this when you are assigned homework tasks. If you feel it's all too much and it's a bit backbreaking. So what I'd like to do is jump straight into the just example text that piece of persuasive writing that I've written. And I'm sure you could do much better, but I just quickly came up with it. And it just really shows you hopefully the different elements of a persuasive text. So we're really thinking about sizzling start, tightening of the tension, and then we've got ending with impact. And of course we have dynamic dialogue and show, don't tell and other aspects put in there as well. But to start off with, what we've got here is a sizzling start. "Get your homework done now," screams Mum down the hall. "You have put your feet up for barely 20 minutes and she's already screaming down your neck. You have come home after a big day at school, including the after-school sport commitment, and now you need to prepare yourself for the thrilling task of completing homework. The question is it really necessary?" There's our sizzling start. Okay, so hopefully, if I've written reasonably well, hopefully you're kind of interested in what I'm talking about. So moving on. Firstly, the amount of time spent in the classroom doing work needs to be fully appreciated. The standard of work completed by students is often remarkable. Students spend time completing literacy and numeracy tasks, engaging in meaningful conversations and debates, listening, writing, reading, and more. Surely there is time to put the mind at ease and relax when school ends. In addition to the intense school day, students normally participate in sport and extracurricular activities. Therefore, the time to complete homework is further minimized. In this sense, homework is not necessary. Refer to that, guys. We're looking. I really call both these paragraphs, or the main chunk, I guess, of a piece of writing, exposition writing or persuasive writing. That's the tension. Hopefully you're thinking about tightening the tension, where you're really trying to be really increase the persuasiveness. So really you're thinking about here's your first argument up here. Well, the argument is all about time, isn't it? Okay, so it says here the amount of time spent. I mean, that's the main thing we're talking about through here. Okay, and then obviously down here it says, well, therefore the time to complete homework is further minimized. So it's just there's not enough time. So let's go to the second paragraph, or third paragraph. "The brain needs a break and children need sleep." So I'll just throw this in there right now. This is therefore argument 2. Okay, so we're still tightening the tension. Okay, teachers and parents are careless. So they're careless if they insist that young children stay up late for hours on end to complete homework tasks and assignments. If homework must exist, then there needs to be a limit on the time children spend on it each night. Children need to be in bed at an appropriate time so that they can get the required amount of rest ready for the next day. Sleeping for at least 10 hours allows children to fully recuperate and rest physically and mentally. Ultimately, this allows them to engage more in class the next day. Alternatively, some teachers and parents may insist on homework for children if they have not fully focused or understood certain aspects of their learning. Now, this paragraph we're sort of looking at, we're referring, to the, I guess, the opposition. Or referring to the opposite sort of the opposite side of the argument. Okay, alright, side of coin. You got to look at both sides of the coin. Okay, so you're referring here to the opposite side. Okay, and that's important when you're writing pieces of persuasive writing as well, that you do recognize the opposition and try and respond to it before they get a chance to. So, if they're not fully focused or understood certain aspects of their learning, there are also some essential components of learning that must always be ongoing, such as reading. Maybe we could be asking some different questions, such as how long should homework go for, and what should doing homework entail? Now, this is where, again, you're thinking about, you're still tightening the tension, you're really coming home to that, hopefully that impact ending. Okay, and people are sort of seeing your perspective. They're really saying, well, he's sort of mentioned that, the brain break and the sleep up here and the time for homework is an issue. So they hopefully get an idea that that you're leaning towards maybe there shouldn't be any homework at all. But then down on here you sort of raise this new idea. Well, there is homework. How long should it be? And what should doing homework entail? And so let's see what happens. Homework could change for the better. so that it is no longer seen as seen as a marathon for children, instead an enjoyable experience. Children could assist with meal preparations, engage their parents or siblings in conversation or debate, or watch a relevant YouTube clip that could assist them in their understanding back in class. We should all realise that for homework to exist, parents and students and teachers must all feel it is engaging, relevant, and timed appropriately. I'll say should engage their parents or let's say siblings, brothers and sisters. There we go. So this makes more sense in conversational debate. But anyway, so this paragraph again, using the word we here, that really sort of nails it home, because you're actually including sort of other people. It's your piece of writing, but by saying we, you're sort of thinking, the royal we. You're including others in your perspective. Okay, and so let's finish. How's it finish off? Mum is calling out again. On my way. Let's get to it. So hopefully then people realise how that it's really quite effective. You can link back to the beginning. Okay, so it ties up your ties up your whole article quite neatly in that sense. Okay, so hopefully it's given you a bit of an idea. It's an interesting topic, persuasive writing and how it's sort of structured. So some more further things to think about. You can have in there, as you can see, it's good to use rhetorical questions. Okay, so is it really necessary? There's a question put there, and then down the end as well. Asking questions up here, how long should homework go for? What should it entail? Repeating yourself. I didn't do it too much here, hopefully, because sometimes repeating yourself too much can be a bad thing. But if you look here, in this sense, homework is not necessary. Well, that's sort of repeating, looking at the beginning here, sort of tying the paragraphs together again. Is it really necessary? And then so you're sort of answering that and coming and addressing that right here. Homework is not necessary. Okay, so maybe it could have been effective if I kind of repeated that again, maybe down here. Okay, if I was to again be a good writer and edit my work and think about how I can perfect it. Okay, another thing to think about would be that quoting professionals is quite good. So if there's someone, if I really could go further with this, I could find a qualified psychologist or an expert talking about homework. And maybe that could add weight to my certain position as well. Emotive words. Okay, so emotive words are quite powerful as well. So you're really thinking about the use of I'll bring it up here for you so you can see it. I'll bring it over here. So I just took this off the internet. This little table here. So you can use persuasive and emotive language. Okay, so looking at the positive sort of thing. Something is it certainly wasn't is an important issue that we're talking about. It's extremely effective. It's remarkable. I think I used remarkable in there. I use the word careless when I refer to the teachers and parents. So persuasive and emotive language is quite useful as well. But going overly emotional and saying stupid idea or dumb idea, or you're probably going too far, and therefore it's not going to be as effective. Okay, so just to come back to it, think about the articles over here. We'll get rid of this one. Okay, really thinking about breaking it up. Your sizzling start, tightening of the tension, and that's where you got to really understand what your argument is all about. So one argument, two arguments. If you're clever enough, come up with 3 or 4. Okay, and it's also useful to refer to the opposite side of the coin. Okay, don't pay it out, but if it is definitely something you're not agreeing with, make sure you clearly explain why. And then at the end, thinking about the impact. Okay, an impact ending, and then see if you can also tie it back to that first paragraph. Best of luck and get writing.